What's up, everyone? This is Dave, aka Finance Guy, and we're doing another EverQuest 54 box raid. Is it EQ Emulator on my computer, local install. So we're on a private server. We are in Vex Thal for the first video. I've done Vex Thal. I actually have created Vex Thal once. I've done a few runs through, partial runs through it as well. So we're gonna do Thall Va Xakra TVX, TVX. It's the first boss in Vex Thal. If you don't count the key holder who's out in the courtyard, he's not really a boss. There are two TVXs in Vex Thal, the north and the south wing of the first area. As far as I know, they're identical. They drop the same, we would have the same thing. They do have a silence. So one thing to keep in mind if you're going to fight them in this hallway is you want to fight them kind of over here, away from your casters. So the silence has a very small AoE radius, and you'll still be in range of heals, complete heals, whatever heals you decide to use. I don't use complete heals just in case they do get hit by silence. I just want to make sure that there's always heals coming in. So they're not very difficult. They do have 900,000 hit points, which, believe it or not, is about how much Vulak has, who we just did a video of. But they don't hit terribly hard. They hit twice per round. They're pretty fast, but they're slowable. They are slowable. And they're not particularly strong against any resist, although we're going to use magic in this case. So I'm going to say /NS big magic. So I can use magic. They rampage, so I'm going to pull with Arthur, my Shadow Knight. And I did go through the wing just now and, pound kill all the ads. This zone has a metric F ton of ads. Just trash mobs. I don't bother killing them. I don't have enough time. Come on, why are we doing private servers? Make it more fun, make it more interesting, and do it the way we want to do it. Customize the rules on our private server. My private server has some custom rules. There's no 5-minute cooldown after a raid mob. It's 30 seconds, like all normal mobs, and there's no experience loss, and there's no res sickness. So those are kind of the custom rules. And I don't res my characters anyway, so no one would get res sickness, but people die all the time. So I took off experience loss. So Arthur's going to run in. Like I said, I've killed all the ads in the hallway. Normally, you'd have to run through here and do it. There might be a chance that during the fight, ads are going to spawn. I've had this weird thing happen when I'm engaged with TVX. A bunch of ads come in. If that happens, I'm just going to pound kill them because I want to show you guys the boss, and I don't want to show you the ads. So oh, look, there's an ad already. So we're just going to real quick just pound kill it and just get rid of it. I don't even know where that thing was. So real quick, my raid team, we got the tank group, the off tank group, 3 caster groups, 3 melee groups, and the spare healer group. And that's 9 groups. That's what I run. So here comes TVK. It's TVX. I think TVK is a different mob. So TVX, Thall Va Xakra. The easiest of all the bosses in Vex Thal. And like I said, there's 2 of them, so it's double the loot. I think they also spawn faster than all the other bosses, which is great if you want to just kind of work your way into Vex Thal and kind of get started with some really good loot. The loot in this, I'm not a particular fan of this zone. I am a fan of the loot. So we're gonna get them engaged. Sorry, we're going to get Dave engaged, and we're going to debuff him. I've already got the silence on me. It lasts for, I think, 15 seconds. And by being out of range of it, by putting everyone over there, they're not going to get hit by it. You can see he's already slowed, he's debuffed, he's dotted. We haven't even engaged yet, and he's already getting creamed. I didn't even have defensive up, and I was having no problem. This guy is really, if you don't get silenced, if your healers don't get silenced, aside from the 900,000 hit points where you do have to beat him down for a few minutes, he's a joke. And I'm actually going to tab out while we're fighting him. And I'm going to come back here. And let's look at his respawn. So you can obviously repop zones if you're a GM. But if you're not a GM and you can't repop zones, let's see how long he respawns. We'll do spawn logs. So he respawns pretty much every 2 days to 2 days, 9 hours. So basically every 2 to 2.5 days. Whereas the rest of the zone, I think, is every 3.5 days. And I think AHR, Tenha Ra, the final boss, is every 5.5 days. So these guys are good for farming. Okay. He's getting a little far from everyone. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a little cheat just to get him away from the pets are pushing him. So I'm just gonna summon him. Oh, he moved. Okay. So sometimes as a GM, I'll summon mobs to get them out of weird spaces because when you're boxing, you can't really tell the people in the raid, hey guys, like back up a little bit. We need to let the boss move. So like, Dave's not getting heals anymore, so I need to move him back. Yeah, okay, now we are. Okay, so you have to be careful with this guy. You don't want him to get too close to the raid, but you also don't want him to get too far away. So that was a little risky there. But yeah, sometimes in Vex Thal, it's easy for the mobs to get caught in walls or get knocked across the room just because the pets are doing that. I don't know how to turn the pets from doing that. I've almost unsummoned the pets for some of these fights, but it's okay for now. But you can just kind of summon the mob a few units closer to you. I don't really think that's. I guess it's kind of like cheating, but I guess it's not because it's no different than telling your raid to back up for like a second while you reposition. So this guy's going down not super fast. I will quick burn him, so make it go a little faster. But you can see it's like kind of a trivial fight, and this is not because I'm really well geared, and I am really well geared. I have, Dave has maybe not best in slot hit points in armor class, but very very close on the health, and probably a little further on the armor. This is actually one of my favorite items from Vex Thal. It's 50 agility, which I think is absurd. I don't think anything in the entire game of EverQuest, anything before any recent expansion on live, has 50 of any stat for like the main stats. I know on live a lot of stuff is you get capped out pretty quick and you get heroic stats, but I think 50 is pretty high, except for like maybe more the last several years where you're kind of getting into the really inflated numbers. So it's a cool item to have because it's hard to max out agility. It's really hard to cap your agility, so this is that item is good for a tank to get there. Plus it has haste on it. It's good haste. So yeah, he's just kind of taking his time going down. Let's see if I can pull him away, pull him a little closer to the raid, so I can get him to. He's fighting Lulabelle, so follow me. Type / follow me only Lulabelle to get her to back off a little and come over here. So this. Oh, look at that. No, he doesn't want to move. So I'm just gonna summon him just a few feet over here. So it's no different. I would have to tell all my guys to stop fighting, and sometimes they don't stop fighting because the tanks want to stay engaged. Arthur's just kind of hanging out because he's the rampage tank, and I don't want him to do anything. I turned his macro off. I usually turn off macros on the ramp tank because if he engages and he gets aggro and he dies, he's no longer the ramp tank, and then TVX is going to pick someone else, probably at random based on maybe the aggro order. And if it's like my bard or like one of my clerics, then that's not good. I had that happen. Mary was the next person on ramp, and she's one of my complete heal rotation clerics, and she died, and then that like ruined an entire fight, basically wiped. I forgot what fight that was, but it was tough. So anyway, he's enraged, so I'll just turn off auto attack real quick. Although I had it on for a few seconds there, it just didn't seem to matter. And yeah, that's pretty much TVX. We'll do loot after he drops. See what he drops. I think he drops 3 or 4 items, and considering how easy this fight is and how easy it is to farm him, and that there's 2 of him, this is a good way to break into Vex Thal if you're having trouble like in other previous zones to gear up. Like Shreza's Temple has great loot. Rumble Crush's loot's okay. And then obviously NTOV and Sleeper's Tomb is a good place to farm loot, especially NTOV, like the last one group of bosses. So, alright. That's what he has. Let's get everyone off the corpse. I don't think anyone died. No one died. That's perfect. So we'll go here. And yeah, he drops 4 items. So we got the Shaded of Me. That's great. That's really great. That's really great. And that's really great. Wonderful. I'm going to do loot, but I just want to say if you liked what you saw, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I love the love and glad we're sharing this with other people, alternate ways of playing EverQuest and having a blast. Who says you have to play on live by yourself and wait for groups all the time, or even play on an emulator in 6-box or whatever? Why not play on an emulator in Box or Raid? I will do videos at some point as I run out of things to do with this raid team, which won't be for a while because Omens of War is how far this this emulator goes. It actually might be Dragons and Norath by the time I get that far. So, and I don't know much about that expansion, but maybe I'll learn. And yeah, so I'm gonna do loot. So let's see who needs the steel skin arm plate. So pretty much, I'm sure anyone can, but See if I can find. Oh my God! Tammy has small banded sleeves, but this has no wisdom on it. But you know what? Her wisdom is probably capped, and this thing has 85 mana. So I'm gonna give it to Tammy because once you have capped wisdom, you don't need to have wisdom on your gear if you're a cleric because it's not gonna do anything for you, and her wisdom is capped. So we're gonna give it to her. Tammy's one of my complete heal clerics, and if I can loot the corpse and not, hey. All right, fine. Give me a second. This Dave's being difficult. He's like, it's my corpse. Wow. What's going on here? What's going on? What? Whoa. I can't. Did I lose control of the mouse? There we go. That was weird. Did you see that, guys? That was ridiculous. So I give that to her. So no more banded for her. She got a nice man upgrade, nice armor class upgrade, some resists. Good stuff. Go Tammy. Oh. Wow, those some weird issues with the mouse on her client. That happens sometimes. So we'll take off this item so I know I did it. And now the Shaded Meats can go head, neck, shoulders, so it can go to anyone too. So it has a lot of dexterity, so I think I'm going to give it to a melee character. So I'm going to do find slot. And I don't know what my weakest slot is for most of my melee, so I'm just going to say, let's try head, because I know I used to have a Frogblock crown on everyone for resist. Yeah, a lot of people still have the Frogblock crown. So who's a melee character who has it that isn't a bard? Because I want to make sure. Actually, I think the dexterity is maxed out on all of my. Let's get to Virginia. She's a ranger. I bet she could use some loot. She's towards the bottom of my stack. You can see my stack here. She's towards the bottom, so people towards the bottom generally get the shaft on the loot because I hate scrolling down through it and I forget about them. I forget that I have them. That's not very nice, but it's true. And she doesn't have maxed out dexterity. That almost caps her dexterity. Perfect. All right, we'll back up, and we'll just close this one out, and we're going to do Umbral Sight Bracelet. So this thing has very high armor class. This is very good for a tank, but it also has 10 attack power. So it could be good for like a Shadow Knight, which, they're a little more offensive. But I'm gonna do find slot. I'm gonna do a right wrist first, and I'm gonna say only tanks. So it looks like Dave has a Warlord Bracer. That's trash. I think by default I'm just going to give that to Dave because, Dave's my main tank and we got to make sure he's as good as possible. So give that to him, and that actually might make him have more hit points than Allie because Allie was ahead. Wow, Dave's almost at 2,000 armor class. That's badass. And then the last item on the corpse is the Gorgon of Superiority, and haste item, resist, stats, good AC. So we're going to do find slot neck. I can give this to anyone really. So let's say melee, druid, shaman. I probably wouldn't give it to a druid or a shaman, but just, I just put them on there. Let's look kind of, I'm bringing it up here. I can see better. So I have some people with resist gear. Honestly, my bards have been getting shafted on loot. And I don't want to. I could give this to a melee character, like a stabby character, but I want to give it to a bard. So I'm gonna give it to Pete. So Virginia and Pete are actually my in-laws, and so Virginia got a piece of loot. So it's only fair that Pete gets something too. He'd be cranky otherwise; it wouldn't be fair. Yes. So we're gonna give him a piece of loot too. So I'll go here. I'll go here. I'll go here. What did he have? Oh, yeah, he doesn't need that. That's much better. All right, so we're done with loot, and I'm gonna go kill the other TVX and get some more loot, and then I'll probably record a video for one of the tower bosses, and kind of just go through Vex Thal for the next few days or whenever I have time to do it, maybe next week or two, and record fights because I am not a super huge fan of this expansion. I'd love to move on to Planes of Power and kind of see when mechanics start coming in, how I'm going to handle them. So again, if you liked what you saw, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Have a good one.